Marcus Hayes was a man of strength and principle. A decorated soldier in the United States Army, he carried himself with a quiet confidence. At just 32 years old, Marcus had already served 2 tours overseas. His broad shoulders, sharp jawline, and warm brown eyes reflected both discipline and kindness. Though he was a warrior by training, his heart was soft for his family and friends. Returning home to his small town after years of service, Marcus hoped for peace. But the scars of the past, both from the battlefield and his childhood in a community that hadn't always welcomed him, remained. He believed that dignity, respect, and perseverance would eventually win over hate. Little did he know, a simple night out would test every principle he lived by. It was a cool Friday evening when Marcus decided to unwind at a local bar called the Rusty Wheel. It wasn't the fanciest place, but it was the kind of spot where people gathered to share stories, laugh, and forget their troubles for a while. Marcus walked in wearing a plain black jacket and jeans, his military dog tags discreetly tucked under his shirt. He nodded politely at the bartender, an older man named Joe, who had known Marcus since he was a teenager. Joe smiled back. "Marcus, long time no see, son. What'll it be?" "Just a soda tonight, Joe. I'm taking it easy." Joe chuckled. "Soda it is. You're too clean for this place." The bar was moderately crowded, with the usual mix of locals, but one group stood out, a rowdy gang of bikers seated at the corner table. Their leather jackets bore patches that screamed rebellion, but it was the hostile glances they threw Marcus's way that caught his attention. Marcus chose to ignore them. He took a seat at the counter and sipped his soda, watching a basketball game on the TV overhead. However, he couldn't ignore the rising tension as the bikers' laughter grew louder, their conversations deliberately louder whenever they mentioned outsiders or people who don't belong here. One of them, a burly man with a scruffy beard and a tattoo of a Confederate flag on his arm, sauntered over to Marcus. His name was Dale Tucker, the self-proclaimed leader of the group. Dale's eyes narrowed as he looked Marcus up and down. Well, what do we have here? You lost, boy." Dale sneered. Marcus turned his head slowly, meeting Dale's gaze. "I'm exactly where I need to be." Dale smirked. "You don't look like you fit in here. What are you? Some kind of tough guy?" Joe, sensing trouble, called out, "Leave him alone, Dale. He's just here to have a drink like everyone else." But Dale wasn't interested in letting it go. He leaned in closer, invading Marcus's personal space. "You think you're better than us, don't you? Wearing that little army tag like it means something." Marcus remained calm, his voice steady. "It does mean something. It means I've fought for this country, for everyone's freedom, including yours." The bar fell silent. All eyes were on Marcus and Dale. Marcus could feel the weight of every stare, but he refused to back down. The tension hung heavy in the air until another biker, a wiry man named Johnny, chimed in. "Maybe he fought for it, but that don't mean he belongs here," Johnny said with a smirk. The others at the table erupted in laughter. Joe stepped out from behind the bar. "That's enough, all of you. I won't have this nonsense in my place." But Dale wasn't done. He pushed Marcus's shoulder, testing him. "You're awfully quiet for someone who's supposed to be a big bad soldier. What's the matter? Don't want to mess up your pretty little jacket?" Marcus set his drink down and stood up. He towered over Dale, his presence commanding but not threatening. "I don't want trouble, but if you lay another hand on me, you'll regret it." The room tensed further, but before anything could escalate, a soft voice cut through the tension. "Marcus?" Everyone turned to see a young woman standing near the entrance. It was Lily, Dale's younger sister. Unlike her brother, Lily had a kind heart and had known Marcus from school. She looked at the scene with wide, pleading eyes. "Dale, stop it," she said firmly. "Leave him alone." Dale scoffed. "Stay out of this, Lily." But Lily wasn't backing down. She stepped between the two men, looking up at her brother. "You don't know what you're doing. Marcus isn't your enemy." Lily's intervention gave Marcus a moment to breathe. He grabbed his jacket and prepared to leave, but just as he turned toward the door, Dale muttered under his breath. "Coward." Marcus froze. He turned back, his voice calm but laced with steel. "You think I'm a coward? Let me tell you something, Dale. You don't know what it means to stand up for something bigger than yourself. I've seen men give their lives for people they've never met. What have you ever done, besides tear people down? Dale's face turned red with anger, but before he could respond, another voice spoke up. He's right. It was Johnny, the wiry biker. His voice trembled slightly as he stood. I served too, Dale, and he's right. We've all been through things, but that doesn't give us the right to treat people like this. The bar was stunned. Marcus looked at Johnny, his expression softening. Thank you, he said simply. Dale, caught off guard, muttered something under his breath and stormed out of the bar. One by one, the other bikers followed, leaving Johnny and Marcus standing in an awkward silence. I'm sorry, Johnny said quietly, for everything. Marcus extended his hand. It takes courage to speak up. Thank you. The night ended on a quieter note. As Marcus walked home, he thought about how fragile respect and understanding could be. Sometimes, it only took one person to stand up for what was right, to change the course of a moment, and perhaps even a life. In the end, it wasn't just about the conflict at the bar. It was about the humanity that shone through when someone chose to do the right thing, even when it was hard. For Marcus, that night was a reminder that even in the face of hate, there was still hope. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.